is the first attempt at testing the prototype zombie. Batteries go in the head, and yeah. So here we go. Oh my gosh, this thing is... battery compartment is coming off of the head. Oh my gosh, this is so scary. Oh wow. Where's the switch? Shoot.
What is going on, you guys? It's the Gemmy fan here on Gemmy Master Animatronics, and man, do we have a big project ahead of us here. This is the Gemmy standing poseable zombie prototype. Now, Donovan does have the body because there's nothing wrong with the body. This is the head, and it's in terrible condition. Very, very, very bad condition. I think it's missing like the whole front piece right here, and then it does have this piece. And then you got a giant hole, bullet hole in the back of his head there. All of it's just kind of thrown out of place here. It is a prototype, as you can see there, the 3 separate boards, and then there is the, God, what do you call it? Shoot, there's a word for it. I forgot the word, but I'll probably say it in the next video. This speaker's absolute garbage. I'm gonna have to throw that away. It's all ripped up here. It's just beat up. There's so much excess hot glue on there that I can't get off, or else it'll just rip it even more. But I mean, it's just garbage anyway. So I'm gonna replace that. I got a couple spares in there, but it does work. Now, first, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get up in there to put that speaker, because it's at the top of his head. You know, at first I was a little concerned because I saw these 2 wires here, but it goes to these. Pretty crazy stuff. So really, this is just a matter of assembling this guy and doing the absolute best that we can to fix this thing. God, is it a wreck. I'm surprised it's even salvageable, but there's enough there to work with. So I'm just worried about that right there. I don't really know what to do for that, honestly. But I guess we'll just have to see as we go along. Okay, so we got some pretty good progress so far. The first thing I'm doing is getting everything mounted back inside where it's supposed to go, and doing some patching before I get into the major stuff. So really these 3 separate boards are the only thing I need to permanently mount in there. As you can see, I got the sound sensor / disc in there. Got the eyes in there. They look pretty good. I like how they had 2 different colors in there. I cleaned them up the best I could because they had so much excess hot glue on there, so I redid all that. Speaker's all the way up in there, as you can see. That's mounted in. And yeah, and I still got to mount the switch. I think that goes to the very bottom.
Come in, if you dare.
And I even replaced the speaker because the one that was in there was absolute garbage because it had gotten beaten up so much.
Are you frightened yet? Oh, you will be.
Alright, we'll see what's next.
You should not have come here. You'll see.
So he's pretty much done, except for the piece I gotta try to mold together, I guess.
Enjoy yourselves. It may be your last chance.
Alrighty guys, he is pretty much complete and all put back together, for the exception of that piece that's missing, which I'm gonna have to either sculpt or incorporate something in there to where it doesn't look like that and everything's exposed. But all the wires, all the components, all the boards, the speaker, the eyes, everything is put back into place as it should and wired up, because there were several wires off too as well. Like, he still worked, but it was just in terrible shape. And he's still not in the best of shape now, but a hell of a lot better than he ever has been, or probably has been in many years. He's all in one piece, and even as it sits now, he can be mounted up on the actual body now, because it's all secured back there. And it's enough security to put them on the body itself. But we're not gonna do that yet. I'm gonna incorporate that one piece that goes there somehow, even if it looks like crap. As long as it's there, that's all that counts, because it's extra sturdy support. The shattered piece is right over there. That was the piece that he gave me extra. That completely came off the head. There's that one like bullet hole in the back of his head still. But other than that, he's got a new speaker replaced, and he is good to go, except for cosmetics and painting. So here we go.
Welcome. Come in, if you dare. Are you frightened yet? Oh, you will be. Oh, good. New victim, guests. Enjoy yourselves. It may be your last chance.
Okay, so now what we're doing is we have a piece of cardboard here. We just adhesed it to this, so yeah, as you knew from the other clips, probably there's a big chunk missing. So all we did is we just attached this cardboard here with some what looks to be hot glue, and we're going to paint over it white, and hopefully it'll look decent. And hopefully the entirety of the head will remain stable and we won't have to do anything else. So yeah. Hello everyone, this is DD1 here on Gemmy Master Animatronics. And today what I have to show you is something you've already seen multiple times in the restoration clips, and you've also seen from, or you know what it is from the title of this video. This is the Gemmy Life-Size 2008 Poseable Zombie, or Zombie with a bow tie, whatever you want to call it. There really wasn't an official name for this guy, but this is the prototype of it. Yeah. And as you can see, there's a lot of differences with it compared to the produced model. Now, Peter C.M. Hanna, another member of this channel, has the produced model, so if you want to make some comparisons, you can use that to do the comparisons with his produced model. And there are a lot of differences with this one. So I'll jump straight into the details. He has a button you push on his sleeve, which the produced one does not have. His hands are extremely detailed, as you can see. I'll zoom in on them. You could basically probably give this to the FBI and they could figure out whose hand was used to mold this. Like, it is extremely on point with the details, as you can see. Hands are kind of dirty. That's all good. Clean it eventually. Another factor about this that is really amazing is that, sorry it's so dirty, I've just not been sure of the best way to clean it yet, but his base is very thick, as you can see. It's very, it's much more, it's taller in that sense. compared to the regular pole-based base, and that is because this is the same kind of base that the Santas from Walmart have, and it has the same kind of really big like pipe-like poles instead of the metal thinner poles. And so all of the pole-based characters were originally going to have this setup, and they ended up scrapping that and only giving it to the Santa, and they had these other kinds of much flatter and thinner bases with the metal poles that are also smaller. Then of course we have the things today that have really thin poles and these wire kind of metal bases. But yeah, so this guy is very significant for that reason, because it's the only one still known to exist that has this kind of structure to it. And he does have a little label there that was from, you can't really read it because there's not much of it left, but that said originally, I'm pretty sure, like the wholesale price for this guy at a booth, because he was at a booth at one of the big expos or conventions where wholesalers are bringing all of the sample animated items to be sold to retailers. So that's what that is. There's no shoes. The produced one also doesn't have any shoes. The produced one basically has that base and that setup. But this guy is tall. If you look at, Dr. Shivers right there, I'll just scroll over. He is much taller than Dr. Shivers. Even his shoulders are higher up than those of Dr. Shivers. So he's a tall guy. The structure of him, like I said, it's like the Santa. That same hip piece is right here. But for the way the head goes on, the head, literally the neck of it, is one of those pegs that connects the two, like, pipe-type poles. And the whole, like, torso is the hip piece upside down. And each shoulder connects into one of the parts where you would put the poles for the leg. And there's a hole in the middle, which is where you stick the head on. I know that made absolutely no sense, especially if you don't... I've never set up a Santa from Walmart, but it's different. That's all you need to know. And then, so he looks spectacular, guys. And there's his head. The whole head is made of resin. One other difference is that the produced one has green eyes, like Dr. Shivers. And that's it. This one, it's kind of an aqua blue color, like Dawn of the Dead, or Graves the Fat Bowler. And there's also the red veins in the eyes as well, which can't always see them on that one, but there's a few on that one. Which I think that's a really cool detail. It's also much more like white than the produced one. The produced one has a lot of like kind of dirty looking smudges on it. The teeth are also not as... Well, I personally think this is creepier because of how like perfect it looks. There's not like all the realistic imperfections on it. Some people say it looks like Sid from Toy Story, actually. But yeah, this head was in absolutely horrendous condition when I received it. Originally, I'm surprised the head was still even a thing, because the whole bottom was disconnected. The whole front underneath the chin was not there at all. There was a bullet hole thing basically going on in the back of his head. And all of the guts of the head were basically spilling out of his neck. Like the eyeballs, the multiple circuit boards, the speaker. So it's like, well, how the heck is it like this? Well, as you saw in the clips before this, the Gemmy fan did an excellent restoration on this. He was even surprised. And as you can see, it looks perfect. Like nothing's wrong. What we actually did for the front, if you skip through the video, is we got some cardboard and we put it on that front section of the neck that was missing. And we glued it on there, and then we actually painted white, and it looks perfect. Like, of course, if you go down here, you can still see where it's missing, but from right here, it looks like absolutely nothing is wrong. And it is spectacular. There's, on the top of his head, there's a speaker hole going on, and that is really interesting because they mounted the speaker in the top of the head. So that's where the speaker is. I was originally thinking there's no way the speaker can be put back up there, but it's up there. So it's honestly just amazing that this thing is intact like it is, and that it's here. The head was just sitting on my floor for months in pieces. I never envisioned it being in this kind of condition. And it is just truly amazing that he is in this good of shape. And for those who are curious, once again, if you skipped if you skipped up to this point in the video, just go back and watch everything. It's so worth it because you can see that the toggle switch is actually on the bottom of the head, as well as the jack for this button, because there's a wire that runs up the sleeve. Very rednecky kind of experimental setup. They were going off of nothing when they made this guy. I think he was probably one of the first pole-based characters they actually made, because they had no idea what they were doing. And then this turned into something like this, or this, you know? I know I'm talking a lot, I just want to share everything about it. But yeah, aside from the base being cleaned up a little bit, because the base is painted, so I don't want to like wipe off the paint, it is in spectacular shape, and it was originally displayed in the same booth that Flaky Francis was in. And I just think it's really cool that this guy is still here to this day in 2019, from 2008. And the sound quality is incredible, because prototypes have clear audio, and it's amazing. So enough of me talking. I know this video is going to be really long, but I'll probably edit it down a little bit. I'm sure I repeated myself, but without further ado, we'll press the button.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Very high-pitched as well.
Welcome. Come in, if you dare. Are you frightened yet? Oh, you will be. Enjoy yourselves. It may be your last chance. You should not have come here. You'll see. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
And there's just the shot of the back of the head, which is in much better shape than it was. He is also motion activated by that, and there's a sound sensor in the side of his neck. But now what I'm going to do is just turn off the lights, and we will go from there and demonstrate him in the dark. You can see the structure of him now because of the natural light. See, there's the pole, and then there's the torso. But yes, here he is in the dark. You can see the section lining up that's cardboard.
Are you frightened yet? Oh, you will be. Oh, good. New victim. I mean, guests.
And that phrase was not in the produced one for some reason. I don't know why they took it out. But yeah, I really don't have much more to say about it besides I'm honored to have been able to obtain this, and I'm also really honored that both the Gemmy fan and myself were able to, mostly the Gemmy fan, but we were able to bring it back to life, because if the typical person had this, the head would have been trashed in seconds. It's like I could not have done what Bailey did with the head, honestly. But yeah, that's really all I have to say and show about it. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy.